in what comedian John Oliver warned viewers was not one of those feel-good, last-week tonight pieces. The satirist on Sunday took aim at Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro's mismanagement of his country and American conservative media for portraying the distress there as the dire consequences of a socialist government. Venezuela is the country famous for giving the world oil, 7 universes, 6 Miss Worlds, and of course, most importantly, 1 Wilmer Valderrama, Oliver said at the top of his piece, referring to the actor perhaps best known as Fez on That 70s Show. Over the last few years it seems like every time Venezuela has been on the news it's because something awful has been happening, Oliver said. But refreshingly, Oliver pointed out, what's happening in Venezuela is not our fault. Get This Week in Politics in your inbox, a weekly recap of the top political stories from the globe, sent right to your email. Thank you for signing up. Sign up for more newsletters here. The food shortages and violence happening in that country can be traced back to President Maduro, who basically bent Venezuela's democratic process to his will, Oliver said, noting the creation of a powerful new constitutional assembly that critics called the end of Venezuela's democracy. In describing the government shakeup, Oliver came up with a comparable situation in U.S. politics, saying it would be like if Trump put a bunch of his friends on the Supreme Court, who then happily allowed him to create a second Congress that outranks the real Congress, and whose members include Melania and Eric. Oliver explained that Maduro's government routinely rejects humanitarian aid, including medicine and food, which its people desperately need. Maduro's government, Oliver said, is telling Venezuelans that humanitarian aid is part of a conspiracy to overthrow his government. President Trump's administration recently called for Maduro to resign. An estimated 1.5 million Venezuelans have fled the country since 2014, according to the UN. On his HBO show, Oliver took special note of an incident in which Maduro, in an apparent attempt to capitalize on the popularity of predecessor Hugo Chavez, said he believed the spirit of Chavez came to him in the form of a bird. What I like most, that, Oliver quipped, is the idea that when powerful leaders die they become birds, because that is a pretty humiliating second act. In an attempt to get Maduro to rethink his policy of turning down humanitarian aid, Oliver had a unique idea. Seeing as Maduro won't listen to reason or the will of his own people, perhaps it's time to call in the one voice that we know he'll listen to. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome a bird. Cue actor Wilmer Valderrama, wearing an over-the-top bird costume. You need to accept humanitarian aid and cool it with the dictator stuff. Valderrama deadpanned. Rob DeCola can be reached at robert.decola@globe.com. Follow him on Twitter at Rob DeCola. Material from the Associated Press was used in this report.